what more and more seen it. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like my game is starts to come together.
Go ahead.
So we've talked to you about this kind of all season about that connection with you and Kennedy Carter, kind of the way that she's able to dump off some of those passes when she's cutting to the rim. Just how do you feel like that connection is growing with her?
It's growing a lot, not just with her, but with every guard on the team. I think we'll be working on it, and it's gonna get better. And I'm just so happy,
And then just to follow up on that a little bit, how do you think that you and Angel, that high-low game between the two of you, where do you feel like you've seen the most improvement in that from your first game together to now?
I think we've been working together practice, so we like getting more and more chemistry together. Even though I threw that pass way too high, but like we're doing a great job just looking for each other and finding each other.
We got Mike and Steven.
Hey guys, congrats on the win. Kamilla, I was wondering for you, obviously you've talked about growing up watching women's basketball, having a day like today in the WNBA camp, all these kids here getting the win. What's that like for all these young fans being able to see you, and what does it mean for you?
It means the most to me, once I was a kid and I was any players fan, and now they are a fan, and we inspire them, and just being able to have all of them here and just watching us play is amazing. It's a great feeling.
Steven.
Hey, Kamilla. We've seen you have interactions back and forth with Tina Charles, even back to last week. Obviously, you had a lot of time defending her one-on-one today. Can you just kind of speak to what you've learned about yourself defending Tina, who's a player that, is one of the better post players in the history of the WNBA?
I say just keep playing solid defense and keep my hands high. She's a great vet, and I look up to her. So I just try to look at her game and also bring it to my game.
Anyone else for Kamilla? Going once, going twice. All right, thank you.
Great job, Neil.
Thank y'all.
Good today. Is she awesome?
Charlie.
That big smile. He said, smile. Go ahead and give it to him, Neil. Yeah, I'm lucky, yo. I'm blessed to be coaching these ladies. To kind of follow up on that, Coach, you've talked about that since the beginning of the season, how lucky and blessed you are to kind of just see the chemistry come together and to see more cohesiveness over these last couple of weeks. What does that just mean to see the growth in this team? It's always good when it started until where it is now. It's a process, and you have to really humor the process, stay patient with the process. But when you see it happen, when you see these smiles like this, it's the greatest feeling, because no matter what, I'm extremely happy to be coaching these young ladies, and to see it coming together and seeing them fun, and that's a positive. And then Angel and Kamilla combined for 24 of your team's total, 43 rebounds. I know they said it when they got drafted that no one would rebound on them, but to just see that competitiveness on the glass out of them, is that something that you want? How do you want to see that grow in that second? It's very important for us to just give one shot, smash the glass, they go after it. And it's not an easy task. That's really difficult to so trying to box out these players who are very strong and very swift and savvy as well. But they're taking it on themselves to make sure that they grab that some opportunity.
Coach, back here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Tied after 3. You end up winning. What did you like about what you saw in the fourth?
The fourth quarter, we kind of because I'm saying it came out there really difficult. Shots, there were some things that we could have done much better. Take a look at those things, but that's for so they were putting pressure set for us to try to take them out of what they wanted to do, make them things from different areas and areas that they like. That was the production was absolutely amazing. When we talk about someone, we talk about Michaela.
Go Steven, Julia, Annie, then Jamal.
Hey, Coach. I was actually going to ask you about Michaela and what you saw from her efforts in terms of just filling gaps on the margins for you from the.
You actually saw it today. You just saw her call. She exactly what was her. It was aggressive. That says a lot about who she is, and trusting her training every single day, and trusting her call that she's ready to go. She's extremely aggressive offensively and extremely aggressive defensively. She never schemed very well. She did it. It's Michaela.
And I'm super proud of what she did for us tonight. She got the gloves.
Now, one more quick one for you. It felt like this was the most comprehensive game for Kamilla on both sides of the ball. You just kind of speak to what you saw and just the preparation and how she's evolved as a professional athlete so far.
Her preparation is there. You know, this game is fun. This game is really fun. Sometimes some things are so well for her, and so many things about the way that you can learn to be helpful to the team. But she's learning so many ways. She's getting better. But the most important thing is her confidence level is there. It's there. So as long as she has her confidence and she's stepping out between those four lanes, not letting this human. She can't do anything but win. And today was an incredible day for her. See what she's doing.
Executing in the clutch has obviously been a big growth point for this team. What do you feel like is different about how your players are approaching those moments now compared to like that first clutch game that y'all had?
Let's go. So it's the difference, you know, let's go and take what the defense gives you. We're starting to see if that's a zone, we're starting to see if it's a man, or if they're packing the point where the ball should go. So there's so many things that we can take from each game. And today, their defense was packing the paint because we were good. So now we're trying to find out exactly how to go. And just another philosophy and other balls from energy.
What do you feel like Izzy kind of brings to that closing group when you're in the club?
To the glass, she was aggressive offensively. She comes out, until she's a stretch four. She can step out and shoot. She can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim. And she did to balls big press on the defensive side of the ball. She was tough. She was tough. It's hard to get into positions that our boys are asked to do. Covering small bars, giving so a lot to ask.
Going back to Michaela, what do you see from her in a day-to-day way at practice in her preparation efforts that keeps her ready for these minutes and these moments?
I've never seen her she gets her work and they're hard, and she trusts in the training, she trusts her work. So she gets out there, she knows that she can do it. You know, see it already when you get out there and you still see it. And it's making me super proud of what she did to me. I just wanted to carry on to the season.
We've talked a lot about just this being a very new team, and your rotations have really shown that. I think different game by game. What are you figuring out about your rotations now halfway through the season? And then when you're going off of that energy, like how much just confidence do you as a coach have to have in the players deep in your bench, knowing that like you're going to somebody who maybe hasn't been tapped, like Michaela in a couple of games, like knowing that she is going to bring that energy in.
This roster, I can see them, just to see what they're doing. I know exactly what they're capable of. And we talk about Michaela, so she can play with those, she can shoot, she can finish, she does so many things, and we can call upon and to make call. It's short up.
Angel in the straight double streak these last 15 games has I think like 200 rebounds now that she's grabbed during this stretch. Just when you see, just what stands out to you when you see a player that has, you know, that ability to collect off the glass in that way, like what I don't know, what about Angel stood out to you in her ability to rebound the ball?
What she does. It's who she is. She plays her role. She plays her role. You always talk about mastering the role. She's mastered her role. She's going to go and get those rebounds for us with his offensive defense. We don't always see her somewhere close to the ball. It's a science. She was just running with it. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's positioning herself when the ball goes up. She wants to always say, so when you want to a desire, and she knows it.
Go second row on your left.
With your team now on a quick turnaround, coming off a win like this, what's your message to them, knowing you got another one in New York tomorrow, and then you play at Liberty again?
Let's kill this plan as quickly as we can. Rest our minds. Just still study it, learn from it, to us, incredible basketball team. It's quite some time. We can see how well they're playing together right now. So it's going to be important for us to be able to get there and get what next to the field.
Hey, Coach, we talked about against the Atlanta Dream a couple times this season, the handful that Tina Charles is in the post. She had 22 the first game against you all, 19 in the last before this one, and then she had 9 tonight. Can you just speak to the time on task and execution from your group defending her?
You know, we had to bring something at Tina. We had to make her see multiple looks. If not, you know, she's a vet. She can do anything. Right here, left hand hooks. She can turn around with jump shots. She can put it on the floor. She can shoot it deep. So we just want to give her different looks and have her thinking more of the defense instead of the offensive flow. And for some it works. And tonight, for us, it worked for us. And not only going to get in that block and become comfortable, but we need to try to make her as uncomfortable as we possibly could.
Not really a game question, but I'm curious, what were your thoughts on the crowd reacting or calling for the double-double, for them pointing to Chennedy to pass the ball to Angel? Did you see that at all?
Well, I'm so locked in, and I actually saw players. You know, that's a form of a and celebration for someone's individual accomplishment, because we're all about team. We're all about team, and so is Angel. But you saw her teammates wanting her to get it, wanting to keep it alive. So for me, that's a beautiful thing to see. There's a lot of that from her teammates wanting it to stay alive.
Early.
There goes that superstar. There goes that all-star. Don't start by that one.
Coach, I just got a question actually about Chennedy. You know, we've just seen her offensive explosion here since, you know, she's come into the starting lineup, and you've always said that she's accepted her role and how she's been able to change and adapt throughout everything. What have you just seen out of her growth, not just with statistical things that she's doing on the court, but just her as a person?
This is a great question, because one thing Kenny actually spoke about this to her yesterday is she's coachable. That's why you see what you see. I coach Kennedy hard. I coach her extremely hard because I can. She responds. She responds to it because she knows I'm not asking her something to do that she can't do. This is a guard you're looking at right here. It can do anything. She does whatever she wants to out there, and it's hard to stop it. So I coach her hard because I want nothing but greatness from her every night. I'm just going to tell you guys this again. You can write it. You can too. That's our all-star right there.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Love you, Kennedy.
See why I love my kids? See why I love them? God dang it. You can love the kid out there. Plays him.
Chennedy, to just kind of hear those words from coach, what does that just mean to you to hear that level of praise and love from your head coach?
I think it really just brings out the best in me. I've been in situations where I haven't always been valued. Coaches haven't always had my back. She has my back on and off the floor. And that brings out the best side of me. That brings out me as a person. Everyone's getting to know me. I love my teammates. I love being here. We're building something special. And I'm so thankful to be a part of something like this. 2 years coming, I'm really thankful to be a part of something like this. I was literally crying in the car yesterday, like, God, I appreciate you so much for putting me where I belong.
Just to have a basketball question just about the game. You know, we've seen the growth from you guys trying to feed into the post, and how has your chemistry grown with feeding into Kamilla and feeding into those post players, and how do you want to see that grow come to the second half of the season?
For me personally, I'm getting better at it every night. Teams are throwing different types of defenses at us each night, but I'm not worried about it. I'm just worried about trying to put my 4s and 5s in the best position to where they can be successful. Teams are locking in on our guards, which is fine. That leaves them wide open at the block. So all they have to do is just catch the ball, rebound, and score. They're making our jobs easier. We're making their jobs easier. So team effort.
Coach Chennedy, come up, Julia.
I'm curious about that last play when the crowd started kind of calling for you to get the ball into Angel for her double-double. Did you hear them shouting at you for that and just kind of what?
No, I told my team when I got in the locker room, I was like, yeah, I'm glad y'all told me because I ready to go coast to coast to the rim. Like, but then I looked and Angel was ceiling and I was like, oh, and then I looked at Spruce and I looked at the bench and they were like, throw it in, throw it in. So I was like, okay, let me pass it. Let me get a better angle, somebody that can actually make the pass and get it in so she can get her double-double. So I was excited for her to get that. Just I didn't know what was going on.
And then Spoon kind of talked about just the way that you guys are able to both focus on team and also celebrate each other's individual accomplishments. How do you see that as a player on this team?
This team is selfless. Like they want everybody to eat, and I truly mean that. I don't think there's anyone in that locker room that envies each other. We're literally a sisterhood. We're locked in, and we want the best for our sisters, and we compete each and every night. And I think that's why we're kind of putting it together. And Chicago is kind of getting aggressive, and now we're starting to punch first type of look out there.
Steven?
Hey, Kennedy. So you've been seeing a lot of successes on efficiency and pick and roll this season, and you talked about teams loading up in the gaps with you.
To be honest, it's not even, we haven't even incorporated pick and rolls. This is success off of just me. We don't really have a lot of pick and rolls, to be honest.
But looking at specifically when you do have it in pick and roll, it looks like the screen rejects, you always find something good out of that. Can you just kind of speak to what you're seeing successfully in that?
I'm a big pick and roll player. I love to get in the pick and roll. I just think it keeps the defense. It's unpredictable. They don't know what I'm gonna do. I can hold the screen. I can look for Kamilla. As you seen tonight, I started to slow it down a little bit. So now I'm just kind of shaking things up and just reading the defense and making the right pass and the right read. That's it.
And then the last thing for you, we've seen you in a position of initiating a lot and closing games, but also on defense, making plays that timely stop manner. Can you just kind of speak to the two-way responsibility that comes with your team leaning on you?
I think the coaches are putting me in a great position to showcase what I can do. They're putting me on defenders, the best defenders on the other team. Sometimes I'm getting switched on longer guys, threes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm able to show my athleticism when they're trying to get that lob over me, or just trying to get quick steals. I think that I'm a guard who is very quick, and that helps us on defense. And if I get steals and I'm getting active, I'm getting under the defense, it's going to help us in transition, as you've seen tonight. So that's kind of my role. I do everything, and I don't mind it. I love it.
Kennedy? Oh, one last one from Carly.
Just to kind of follow up on your first answer, you said you wanted to prove that you belonged at the start of the season. You know, obviously we're only halfway through.
I didn't belong because I came into LA coming off the bench. I came in not playing. Like, are we being serious right now? Are we watching what I'm watching? We got to watch the same type of basketball. And it's been consistent. So, yeah, don't sleep on me. Yeah.